Hi everyone, this is Daisy here, aka Professional High Priestess, and I'm here to drop a channeling that I feel like is long overdue and that can really help a lot of you with what we're currently dealing with. And this is what I call the narcissistic brew. And I like to use like different analogies to explain certain things because I feel like it then lands better for people. It's like you can read self-help books all day and things like that, but if it's not broken down in a way that you can really resonate with on a day-to-day, it's hard for you to understand and use it to transform yourself. So the narcissistic brew basically is the potion that a lot of these narcissists have taken that have amplified the spell that they are under. Because you guys have to understand that narcissism is a spiritual affliction, okay? But some people are not just born narcissists, okay? There's some people, because of their karmic makeup and their family ancestry, that they're predisposed to developing narcissistic personality disorder and behaving as one and facilitating actions and behaviors of a narcissist. But ultimately, it's this narcissistic brew that turns them into a full-blown narcissist, okay? And then they go ahead and they share this narcissistic brew by force or indirectly with other people and then turn them into narcissists, right? It's kind of like vampires. You know, someone turns me into a vampire, I go through the whole death and transformation phase and go through the underworld and get stripped of my spirit and my humanity, and now I'm a vampire, right? Then I go and turn someone else into a vampire. They go through the same process, etc. Call it the narcissistic brew. So what I'm gonna talk about is how this brew is created, and how to avoid drinking this brew from other people. Okay, because a lot of the times we don't even know that we are being fed someone else's brew, and then we end up, experiencing projection, gaslighting, manipulation, all of it. Yeah, because we're drinking someone else's brew. So the first thing is, how is this brew created? This narcissistic brew, think about a pot on fire, okay? The pot is literally their consciousness, all right? And the fire and how hot the fire is and how strong the fire is their ego. Now you have to understand this. When we're talking about narcissists, there's specific classes of narcissists too, okay? So we have the somatic narcissist, and their brew is more in the physical sense, meaning the body. They use their body as a way to manipulate and delude you, and sex and all that to delude you, right? Somatic narcissist. Then we have cerebral narcissists, and their type of brew is using mind game, mind power, right? Mental games, right? And they feed you their brew through, of course, gaslighting and things like that. At the end of the day, you have to really understand that the whole purpose is to make sure that you're confused. Oh yes. Okay. So because it's a chemical, and it's what happens when you deal with narcissistic individuals. Of course, you become emotionally dysregulated, you become physically dysregulated, all right? And then it then impacts your behavior. So then the way that you think becomes distorted, the way that you act becomes distorted, because there's now a chemical and energetic and spiritual imbalance, right? So as I was saying, not all narcissists are made the same, right? So you have to think about that in terms of the fire and the severity of the fire. So think about like, in a gas stove or a fire stove. Let's just be real. Like a gas stove I take that over like one of those electrical stoves with the coils any day, right? Because the fire stove, I feel like it cooks the food differently. So take that as an analogy, right? For the ego in terms of narcissists and their brew. Depending on what type of narcissist, somatic or cerebral. Overt, meaning they're direct narcissists, right? Or covert, meaning they try to act like they're innocent and they're the victim. That's another type of narcissism. It depends on how that fire is going to burn, and then it's going to impact how the brew is going to come out, right? And then what is this brew? This brew is their delusions, their traumas that they've not healed and resolved, the lies that they tell themselves and that they feed into from society, that you need money to be respected, and you need to deal with this, you need to date this type of person to gain status and stuff like that, right? Their accomplishments in the material world, whether it be their jobs or their degree or how many people they slept with or how many people they manipulated, that all goes into the brew that they create. And then what happens with this brew is they drink this shit, of course. And this brew distorts their way of thinking. Think about the Seven of Cups type of energy. It makes them wear tinted glasses so they're not able to see reality properly. Think about that movie, They Live. right? And in the movie They Live, for those of you who watched it, they when they don't have on these glasses, everyone looks normal and fine. It looks like peachy, happy, whatever. But when they put on these glasses, these 5D glasses, they see everyone as skeletons and monsters, and everything is like programmed and manipulated and controlled. To use that same analogy when you're thinking about individuals with the narcissistic brew, they can't see reality properly because they have specific type of glasses on, right? And those glasses are tainted by their narcissistic brew, right? So then, because they cannot see life properly, and they don't understand that they are living in a distorted reality caused by their narcissistic brew that them and other people are drinking simultaneously, they end up trying to project and force their reality onto you. Now, when you come along as a high vibrational being who understands narcissism and will resist, being manipulated and controlled, what ends up happening with you is you kind of like, I would say, Seven of Cups reverse them. You clear up their glasses and you clear up their lens, but then remember, it's like in the movie They Live, they put on the new type of glasses and they see everything for what it is. It's too scary for them. So they want to put back on the tainted glasses, right? That are tainted by their brew. So then what ends up happening is because they're trying to defend their worldview, they're experiencing cognitive dissonance. Now they know that they're distorted because they've seen a reflection outside of themselves that's outside of the control of their narcissistic brew glasses, right? This is where the manipulation comes in. This is where the distortions come in. This is where the tactics come in, the gaslighting, all of it. Now, this is what you have to understand about these individuals who, are actively engaged and they're knee deep in their pots and pots and pots into their narcissistic brew. They project their reality onto you because it's hard for them to think of themselves as the problem in their life. They can't see themselves as lesser than. They can't see themselves as having like something, a personality defect that they need to fix. They can't see that. They see you. They see something as. They see it as there's something wrong with you because you're not a part of the brew. You see. Well, my other friends are like this. Why aren't you like that? Well, I've had other relationships like this. Why aren't you like that? Right. Well, I've worked with other people and they did this. Why aren't you like that? Because I'm not a narcissist. I'm not a codependent. And I'm not susceptible to your narcissistic brew because I'm on the 5D level and I overstand you. I overstand you more than you understand yourself, you see? So they try to get you to drink their brew through projection and through gaslighting and manipulation because that's the only way that they can get you to be a part of their distortion and their delusion because that's the only way that they can feel safe again. Because now that you've Seven of Cups reversed them and they put on the new glasses that can really see reality, it's too much for them. So obviously something has to be wrong with you because you refuse to be a part of the illusion. This is why certain individuals, they run around crazy, manipulating other people, talking crazy, talking out of the side of their neck, pulling shit out of their ass, because they're so deep into their narcissistic brew, they're psychotic at this point. They've drank too much of it. Because remember, narcissism is a spiritual disorder. So on the spiritual level, they've opened themselves up to all types of entities that just want to run them and control them and dominate other people, and collect narcissistic supply. But in the advent of those entities running them and continuing to drink that narcissistic brew and running into people like us, right, who don't play those type of games, they've found themselves in a new dilemma. Whoa, there's actually something that I do need to work on. Whoa, I am the cause of my problems. Whoa, not everyone is low vibrational as me. Whoa, there are people better than me. And because remember, people who drink narcissistic brew, they deal with other narcissists, most likely the people that turn them into narcissists in the first place. They will throw you under the bus with these people to try to make it seem like they're better than you or things like that. But look at what they manifest or lack thereof. They don't manifest shit but narcissist people that they've facilitated narcissistic abuse on, a whole list of people, right? Lack of manifestation, right? Or manifesting fuckery and karmic energies. But they want to try to come and tell you that what you're doing is wrong and how you're living is wrong and you're the problem and you're this and you're that because they're looking at you through a distorted lens, through a distorted worldview. And a lot of y'all are under this narcissistic brew. It's a spell. Someone else has manipulated you and tampered with your consciousness, aka your spirit then, right? So you believe that you're low vibrational. You believe that you're not good enough. You believe that you're this, that you're that. But it's literally their brew. That's their problem. That's their issue. I recently dealt with this with another person. And she was super passive aggressive, like making like indirect comments towards me. And the craziest thing is, it's like, when you live in such a low vibrational state, like when you do things with yourself sexually, when you don't take care of your body, when you don't have any spiritual development, you just talk out of the side of your neck and know how to use a spiritual lingo or symbols or things like that. And then you want to try to come and talk about, high vibrational beings. Your narcissism just keeps on getting reflected right back onto you. And it's either you get Seven of Cups reversed, right? And the hangman energy, and you realize, okay, actually it's me, and that's the problem. I need to change my perspective and do better. Or you continue to drink more narcissistic brew, right? And then eventually you end up in the 10 of Wands, right? And then the 9 of Cups reversed, shattered dreams, shattered illusions, burdens, and stress. Because when you're under that narcissistic brew, you can't think straight, you can't act straight, and you can't make proper decisions. That's why a lot of y'all who are dealing with narcissistic, masculines and feminines and things like that, I say masculine and feminine, not divine, mind you, masculine and feminines. That's why you can't be around them, because that brew is so thick. It's like God has to empty out the pot, wash it out, rinse it out, and try to start a new pot, a divine pot that's filled with 5D information and knowledge and wisdom. The residue from building up my spiritual practice and being consistent with it. Good karma from all the good that I did for other people and all the good that, I accumulated by, being in alignment with the Most High. Because until then, they're just going to keep feeding you poison. And you're going to keep on drinking poison with them. And drinking illusions and drinking gaslighting and drinking projection, thinking that you're the problem when it's really them. There's something wrong with them, obviously. Because like I said, look what they manifest or lack thereof. Like I said, there's nobody in this world, like real talk, the only person that can really tell me shit about myself is the Most High. That's why a lot of individuals that be running around on YouTube, I'm just going to say this too, the narcissism is hella real. It's like hella real. I didn't realize how deep it was, because I'm so, I'm kind of like a hermit. I stay to myself. But a lot of that uncontrollable narcissism and the projection and stuff like that, it comes from one of the aspects of the brew, which is, delusions of grandeur. You're delusional enough to think that, you trying to come in here, you feel like you have too much, you feel like you have authority over people's, too much authority over another person's life, and you don't. I had to get that out the right way. A lot of y'all feel like you have authority to say whatever and do whatever. You're narcissistic. You're drinking your own brew. Because who gave you the power to exact judgment, right? Especially when you're not spiritually developed. So that's what I have to say about that regarding this narcissistic brew, y'all. Don't drink it. It's just out of their jealousy. They project onto you. They have mental illness, right? They think that they're the victim some way, somehow, by you exposing them and shattering their illusions, right? Because you have to understand, narcissists, they're not real people. They have a spiritual disorder. Their humanity has been taken away from them. No, they took away their own humanity by facilitating dehumanizing acts onto other people. Lying, stealing, all this other stuff. Viewing themselves as a specific type of object or archetype that's rooted in materialism and low vibrations. And because of that, they can't see another person as a whole, healthy human being that deserves to be treated with kindness and respect and reciprocity. That's why they play these games, because they feel like they need to have power over other people. They can't see equal give and take. It's either someone has to be dominated or be the dominant one. And even some of those ones that act submissive and all that stuff, it's still a power game too. Remember I told you, overt or covert narcissist. So anyways, y'all, that is what I have for you, okay? I hope that you enjoyed this channeling regarding narcissistic brew. That is the end of our session. Once again, this is Daisy, aka Professional High Priestess. If you need a personal reading, go ahead and check the description box below. Thank you so much. Bye.